or to remove the majority of the board. And then the person who exercises, remember the person I told you about, the person who keeps on directing us on what to do, that is that natural person. We can call him Mark. Maybe there's Mark somewhere. You enter Mark's details, and that's what we shall have. We also have the company's beneficial owner regulation, 1 of 2023. The key features are the title, the interpretation on who a beneficial owner is, the register of beneficial owners. As earlier stated, you'll enter the name, the postal address, the occupation, nationality, and all that. And then we shall verify to the greatest extent the information you enter. And then you'll have to, this register is kept at the registered office of the company, or in the event you sought the services of a lawyer or a consultant to prepare this report, the register, it's kept there, and you have to state where it's kept. In the event you have any changes in the beneficial owner, yes, you will have to notify us. And then we shall keep a record of what you share with us, because the register is kept at the office. And then with regard to inspection of the beneficial owner's information, there are requirements which you need to fulfill. This information is not publicly available, so you'll have to fulfill the requirements that are set in relation to inspection of this information. And this is upon payment of 25,000. So you can apply to the registrar for a copy or an extract of the documents containing the particulars of this information. And why you have to fulfill this condition, we're aware that people can use this to blackmail for selfish reasons of, yes, just for malicious reasons. So that's why you have to comply with the terms and conditions set as you access this information. With regard to ministries, departments, and agencies of government, including the competent authorities, they shall not be required to pay for this information, because they're going to use it in fulfillment of their functions. Just like under the partnerships law, in the company's regulations, we have cooperation with other agencies. As we do our work, we interface with different ministries, departments, and agencies of government, regional bodies and international bodies that deal with beneficial ownership. So we'll be able to share this information. And in the event that they're enforcing the provisions of the beneficial owners in certain companies, we shall collaborate with them, we shall work together. In the event of any investigation and they need to get this information, we should be able to discuss and be able to share information. And there's a penalty where you provide information that is you knowingly do it, you're liable to a default fine of 25 currency points. And one currency point is 20,000. So if we say 25 currency points, we are talking of 500,000. So what's the way forward? We had a notice that was sent out a month ago that requires all companies to submit their beneficial owners. And then, probably I should be clear, listed companies, we know that the shareholding over these listed companies keep on changing, and since they are continuously trading, for listed companies, if you have a corporate shareholder that's a listed company, please just notify the Register of Companies that as that will be your compliance to this requirement. And then we are going to enhance our online business registration system to include a component for beneficial owners to ensure that the information in the company's registry is fully computerized and easily accessible. Currently, the companies which were incorporated before our system was rolled out, you can submit your information in triplicate to the nearest URSB office. It will be received, stamped, and we shall return 2 copies. Please note that submission of these forms does not attract any fee. Of course, we have seen misleading information going around that you have to pay. Please do not pay any fee for this. And this requirement doesn't require you to have fully updated returns. This time it's one of the services we are offering without requiring you to file returns. So all companies comply. The issue of compliance with annual returns, another topic for another day. And then later in this quarter, we are going to have a data cleanup where we shall check the information and to ensure that all the information you have and what we have is the same, because we have had instances where clients have documents which we don't have, or we have documents which you might not have. So we are going to have the data cleanup. We are going to continuously engage our stakeholders using the different media platforms on the importance of beneficial ownership. And then we'll continuously ensure that Uganda is complying with the recommendations. There are 40 recommendations, but with regard to companies, we comply with 2 recommendations, 24 and 25. So where would you find us? Our head office is at Plot 1 Baskerville, and that is opposite City High. We have a branch at Georgian House, Posta, Uganda. We have regional offices in Mbale, Mbarara, Gulu, Arua, Masaka, and very soon we shall have one in Hoima. I want to thank you. Provia, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Patricia, for your presentation. I'm going to take questions. We have shared. Ken, can you share the YouTube link? I'm going to take questions that have been posted in the chat, and I'm also going to take questions that have been posted on our YouTube link, which has been shared. Okay, let me just scroll to the top. Patricia, most importantly, in simple terms, someone asked in simple terms which are not legal. Kindly explain who a beneficial owner is using examples. You can use an example of my name, even if I'm not a beneficial owner, but in very simple terms, giving examples.
Okay. A beneficial owner is a person who enjoys benefits of ownership through shares or membership held by another person. So using, let's say we set up TP investments. On the face of it, we'll see Provia and Patricia. But the person who's actually benefiting is someone called Mark out there, who probably is a PEP. A PEP is a politically exposed person, or who is someone who doesn't want to be known. That is a beneficial owner. We want you to disclose that information about that person marked in the background. Because once you check on the company register or PP investments, you will see Provia and Patricia. Provia?
Okay, Patricia. Let me just a minute. There are a lot of questions. Okay. Many of the participants are asking for your slides to be shared on their email as well. Okay.
We'll share with you.
In which period, this is Maureen, in which period is the form supposed to be filed and the deadline?
Maureen, the deadline is tomorrow, 11th February. This notice has been out for a month since sometime in January.
Okay, Benjamin Akol is asking, what happens to those companies that file beneficial ownership forms under the AMLA, Anti-Money Laundering Act? Are these forms null and void? Just wait, Patricia. Are these forms null and void, or they are sufficient for purpose of this information that is being sought by URSB?
We are collecting this information in compliance with the Companies Act and the regulations therein. So Benjamin, please submit Form 1 as provided for, plus in the regulations.
Okay. Someone was asking, Alex was saying, use common language. We need to be cognizant of the fact that certain people are not lawyers, so we have to break down the information much easily. We understand, Alex, and we shall do that. Okay, Peeland asks 25 currency points. Not everyone will have to understand. Remember, we are ambassadors of those who have not attended this Zoom meeting. Can you explain what 25 currency points is? Patricia.
Okay. A currency point has a value. So in the case of the company's regulations, it's 25 currency points. So what you do, you multiply 20 times 25. That's how you get to 500. So a currency point is usually used to calculate fines, penalties. So that's how we get to the 25. And the way you get to the 500, you say 20,000 times 25 currency points.
Okay, thank you, Patricia. And then Pamela, kindly consider first-time listeners of this conversation and labor to explain in details or reduce on speed. Okay, I told you about the speed issue. Maureen from Masindi is asking, URSB should accept online submissions pending hard copy submissions within a specified time. Many companies are upcountry or have owners out of Uganda. Patricia?
Yes, Maureen, thank you. We have taken note. Probably we could tell you we have regional officers, and I think in Masindi we have someone who sits at the local government under the TREP project. So you could submit your forms to that, our representative there.
Thank you, Patricia. Dean Yakato says, please discuss with us the new requirements and what we need to do or not to do. She was speaking about reading, saying reading was not addressing the issue. So they need to know what requirements, what is exactly is new, what does she have to do or not do when it comes to the beneficial owners information.
Probably, sorry, I missed the name. Do is to provide the beneficial owners. Some people were simply writing the shareholders, yet remember we have information on shareholders, we have a register of members. Now some people were just regurgitating. We have a corporate shareholders, a company being a shareholder. You do not put a company name being a shareholder in another. We want to know the shareholders in that company. That is the information you need. And in the event it's a listed company, you will write and inform the register of companies that you're a listed company. And if you have other beneficial owners, you provide that information on those beneficial owners.
Thank you, Patricia. Patrick is saying, on a serious note, please extend the deadline for effective implementation. And Diana is also adding on to that and saying, it's the first time I'm hearing this word beneficial owner. So there is a request to extend the deadline to ensure that the companies comply.
Okay, Diana, we hear you. But however, I could say by the time the amendment of the amendment process began, this discussion, it has been around for a while. On extension, that is feedback, I will take note.
Okay. Maureen is asking, okay, no, it's the same period. In which period is the form supposed to be filed and the deadline? Maureen, the deadline Patricia has mentioned is February 11. And Yeah, so that's the deadline. I need some guidance. No, wait a minute. Okay, Diana Nimusima is asking, does every company have a beneficial owner?
Diana, not every company has a beneficial owner. That's why we sent out a notice and said, companies, let us know whether you have beneficial owners or not. If you don't have, you tell us no. That's why you'll submit and say nil, you don't have any beneficial owner. If you have, you provide. But we should know, in as much as we're saying we don't have, in the event that you provide false information, there's a penalty for that.
Samuel from Uganda Pioneers Association is saying, thank you, Patricia, for the information. Before URSB institutes the deadline, I advise that they roll out this to the district NGO boards. This is then there is a question. Some directors are not within the country. There should be an option of online submission.
Okay. However, I could say you just need one director and one partner to sign it. A director or secretary can sign the form, not all of them.
Okay, let me also read a few questions on my phone that you didn't think through this. So listed companies, corporate entities, family trusts, etc. There must be a cap to it. Either those who hold 30% and above shareholding, but not all beneficial owners. So listed companies give a list of 1,000 beneficial owners.
As earlier stated, I said for listed companies, we are aware that they keep on trading, changing ownership on a daily basis. That's why I said for a listed company, write to the registrar of companies and notify us that you're a listed company, and that will suffice as compliance. For trusts, we should know that we have trusts which are regulated by the Trustees Act, which is not one of the laws we implement as URSB. And then corporates, that's why we need to unveil who is behind this corporate shareholder. That is a person we need.
Okay. There is a concern also that the alignment of this amendment with the Data Privacy and Protection Act, because you're asking for the NIN, TIN, contact and full names.
We take note of the Data Protection Act, and as URSB, we are a data processor. When you provide this information, it's for our internal use. It's not information we share with non-competent authorities. Because this information, whenever a competent authority is seeking for the same, it's for an investigation, it's for some implementation in their function. So it's not information which is publicly available. It's not information which we'll share with our clients who apply for this searches.
Okay, then there's a question as well. The law says a company with beneficial owners. Why is URSB asking all companies to file then?
Why we ask all companies? Because we need you to tell us, do you have or you don't have? So it's a compliance issue. You tell us whether you have or you don't have.
Okay.
Because how will we be able to implement this provision if we do not know that you have the beneficial owner?
Okay. Just a minute. In between other comments and these ones. Okay. What are the steps? Dennis Mugabe is asking, what are the steps of filing these forms? Is there an online way?
Currently, we don't have. We have a walk-in. Those who are able to file are the new companies that are being incorporated in OBRS. But we are working on a mechanism of seeing how the existing companies can file online.
Okay, Matego Geoffrey is asking, should NGOs with companies limited by guarantee also file this form? How do you determine beneficial ownership for NGOs?
For NGOs, the way you consider beneficial owners on those who have the powers to appoint the boards and those who have significant influence and control over this NGO.
Okay. Just a minute. All the Sashin says, all this information asked for the OBRS again. I think it's referring to annual returns and the MEMATs. Why do we have to submit again?
Annual returns are not a way of updating information. Information occur during the year. So you can't say my information in my annual return. And as earlier said, this is an obligation and a requirement as a country, which it's provided for in our Companies Act to provide. That's why the amendment is in section 119A. 119 is on a register of members. Now 199A is on a register of beneficial owners.
Okay. Just scrolling down. From Advocate Biamazima Joshua, from what I'm learning, a beneficial owner is a person not named in the company registration documents, but has control over the company. In other words, shareholders are not beneficial owners, neither are directors. True or false?
Joshua, as I earlier said, a beneficial owner is someone who enjoys benefit through the membership held by another. So in the event, that's why we're asking you, who is the person behind Joshua? If there's no one, you don't have a beneficial owner. If it's a corporate shareholder, as I earlier said, you have a PP investment and you have this shareholder, probably LKZ Holdings. We want to know who is behind that corporate shareholder. It's unmasking. You want a natural person. Yesterday, a client came in. They have a company. It has two people. One is a natural person. The second person is a company which is registered in Mauritius. And it's a whole chain. It has like 5 companies. So I told him, we want to know this person, natural person behind this whole complicated structure of the 5 people. We're unmasking. We want to know who that is. Like when you're peeling an onion, it's a layer, every layer, until you get to the heart.
Okay. Someone is asking, is this discussion restricted to LLCs only? No information on PLCs?
This information is relates to limited liability companies, public companies. We have public companies which are not listed. So those ones have to provide their beneficial ownership information. The listed companies, as I said, you write a letter to the register of companies and that will suffice as compliance. For now, until we have
Okay, Murunji Caroline Mwebas is asking, the most important point to explain is who a beneficial owner is, who is required by law to declare beneficial owners, what is the procedure, and what are the fees or charges?
Murunji, a beneficial owner is a person who enjoys the benefits of ownership through shares or membership held by another. The second question was on the procedure. There's a form 1, which you fill in. The third is on the fees. There's no fee. So members, please don't let anyone charge you for filing this form. It's free. And you you don't have to have updated annual returns to submit this form.
Kindly share those forms via our registered emails in your database.
Our dear participants, these forms are available on our website. Go to www.ursb.go.ug, go to the forms. You'll see there the last forms. You'll see company incorporation forms, partnerships, and all. But these are the last forms down, the last category of forms. There's form 1, form 2, form 3, form 4.
And someone is asking, why should the deadline be on a weekend?
Because that's when the month ends, the 30 days from the notice period.
Then there's a question. What happens if the shareholder, who is an individual, owns shares in the current company and also owns shares in the entity that has shares in the current company? For example, this is URSB Limited, and the shareholders are Provia, Benjamin, and Provia and Benjamin Limited. Provia has 1 share, Benjamin 1 share, Provia and Benjamin Limited 98 shares.
You're going to give us the information on Provia and Benjamin Limited, that corporate shareholder. We need to know that those are the beneficial owners in this company, in URSB Limited.
Nuasasira Kenneth is asking, how do we fill the last part, please? I can see a lot of things to fill with no box entry. The last part of the form.
Now, Nuasasira, at that point, you'll name, you use the form the way it is. If number 1, enter the name of the beneficial owner. And then in that box where it has nature or control of beneficial owner, the beneficial owner has in the company, you're supposed to state the percent, the shares held, if they are voting rights, the number of voting rights they hold, whether they are able to appoint or remove a majority of the board, whether they, so you create notes, so you can have bullets. 1, now if it's on Benjamin, you put here, 1, you'll say he has 70 shares. 2, you'll say his voting rights amount to his 70, or he has 1 voting right. Does he then have powers to remove the whole board? Whether he has significant influence. Do you have significant influence? Yes or no? So create like put it in bullets, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 addressing each.
Samuel Carola is asking, where does URSB derive the power to set deadline? I didn't see it in the regulations.
Those are administrative powers, I don't know.
Adshabe is asking, do I have to file this form even when there are no beneficial owners in the company?
Yes, Katshabe, because you're telling us whether you have or not. So when you compliance is by notifying the registrar of companies that no, in this company, we do not have any. Or yes, we have, and these are the ones.
Patricia, I think you need to put up the form and download it onto your computer, put up the form and have a demo and show a demo of the areas they have to fill. Because I'm seeing a number of questions where they're asking for detailed explanation on how to fill the form. You let me know when you're ready, but you can continue answering. Then you let me know when you're ready to share your screen. Cleopatra is saying, but all this information lies on company files, which are in the sole custody and control of URSB.
Cleo, unfortunately, this information is held by the company, because there's nowhere in the company form or on the company record where you're telling us that so-and-so is the ultimate beneficial owner of the shares held.
Maureen is saying, does it mean that companies limited by shares are not allowed to file for this?
All companies are required to file, Maureen. So Pravia, the form is up.
Okay, now you can demonstrate, then we can get back to the question.
I'm not able to type.
Patricia, you can proceed.
Okay, yeah. I'm just going to get another form. Yes, you can be reading read the question in the meantime.
Okay. Go back up. Questions are quite many. I have to go back to where I ended. Just a second. Okay. I have not understood. This is from SY. I have not understood who the beneficial owners are. Can employees be beneficial owners?
They benefit from the ownership of the shares held by someone else on the company record. I'm having some difficulty with this form.
Diana is asking, supposing I have no beneficial owner in my company, does it mean I file nothing or I don't file at all?
Then if you don't have beneficial owners in your company, fill in nil.
Frank Baramura is asking, how can the deadline be tomorrow when the training is today?
Frank, this law was, the Companies Act was amended last year in September. The regulations came out on 6th January. The notice was issued on 10th January.
Excuse me. Diana says the notice was not seen by everyone. Bob is asking, are NGO funding agencies such as you said, Global Fund, etc., considered to be beneficial owners?
No, don't look at the donors. We don't look at donors. So probably I have a form.
You have the form?
Can you see? Of LK Investments Limited.
Yes, I can see.
Yes. So you enter the 14-digit number. I think I've put more. That long number is what you enter. You enter your company name. You enter the beneficial, the registration number of the company. And then in this case, you do not have beneficial owners. So you can't say you have a place where you can't keep your register somewhere. So this is what I'm saying in the event that you do not have beneficial owners. This is what you'll fill in. And then this is signed off by either director or a secretary. And then in the event you have beneficial owners, we shall say our register is kept at plot
Patricia, are you there?
Yes. So in the event this company of mine has a beneficial owners, remember the company where For shareholders, we shall fill in our BO information. Say, this is where our register is kept. When did we, now Mark, remember Mark I spoke about, and this one, he's the one who, from the time we incorporated this company on 12th January 2005 is when we got into this arrangement. The beneficial owner in our case is Mark. Is Mark Green. His passport number is probably BA. So you enter the information as is. We'll say he's a British. He was born in 11th 1978. His address is so I'm filling in the info. Probably you can ask questions in the meantime.
All right, okay. Let me ask the ones from YouTube as well, so I give a chance to them to be. Are NGOs incorporated outside Uganda and only registered within the NGO Bureau? Not with
No.
URS supposed to file?
We are this law applies to entities on the register of companies.
Okay. Then another, the deadline is unreasonable. Some companies do not have resident directors and will have to sign and courier documents from abroad. Are you able to do away with the requirement for wet ink signatures? Is beneficial owner the same as shareholder? Kindly elaborate. I must have missed that. Is there a clause? Is there, is there a clause talking about it so we advise our clients? We can quote.
I didn't get the last question. What clause?
Elaborate, like a clause that is clarifying who a beneficial owner is, and also stating that a beneficial owner is not maybe a shareholder.
Okay, the definition of a beneficial owner is in the Companies Act in section 2, and then in the regulations you'll find it there. And then on who a beneficial owner is, a person who enjoys the benefits of ownership through shares or membership held by another. And this person does not appear on the register of members of a company.
Okay. And then there is a request for extension of the deadline coming in from CASITA, from members of CASITA. Patricia.
Okay.
And also in the chat, I have seen a request for a presentation in Luganda for Omuntu Wawansi.
Yes, we can consider that.
Okay. Sarah Martin is saying, if you don't go to the grassroots, people don't know anything to do with this. So in other words, he's meaning it will be difficult for people to file if they don't know.
Martin, as I earlier stated, on our way forward, we're going to have continuous engagements with our stakeholders, And we shall also be able to have discussions in the various languages.
Natasha is saying, how are we even discussing these with a deadline of tomorrow, of which tomorrow is a Saturday? You know how your offices be on weekends, Patricia. Are you going to work tomorrow to be able to receive the submissions that are going to be made tomorrow?
And Natasha, this notice is a month old, and tomorrow is the 30th day. So probably you missed it. And we're considering we shall be able to communicate to you this afternoon if we'll be open. Okay.
There are a number of requests for extension because people did not hear about it or they did not see the notice. But however, there is also goodwill to comply. So this is for us to think about.
Appreciate that goodwill and we encourage you to comply.
Nolene is asking, are there guidelines that we can follow while filling, because most of us still do not understand who a beneficial owner is. I think, Patricia, this demonstration you're showing is supposed to help that.
Okay, let me get right into this. So we have this company in our register, LK Investments. That is the registration number. We have the shareholders, Provia and Patricia. On the face of it, you will see I own 50, Provia owns 50. But then, as I earlier told you, there is someone who is the brains behind LK Investments, whose information I have entered. So I have said the beneficial owner register of LK Investments is at plot 5, floor 1, Georgian House, room 223, George Street, Kampala. Our postal address is PO Box 112, Kampala. I hope this is not someone's address, a random one. And then the day in which Mark became a beneficial owner was 12, January 2005. And then I enter Mark's details. Mark Green, his passport number, is a British, his date of birth, his address, his postal address, his email, his phone number, and occupation. And then when I come to the next page, I'll tell you that the beneficial owner, actually this company where you see Patricia and Provia owning 50-50, is owned by Mark. He owns 98%. He just gave us one share each because we are standing in for him. He has the voting rights. He's the one who decides what happens. He's the one who appoints the board. All the decisions are made by him. And then I will sign off, or Provia will sign off. Now, we have told you, because on the face of it, when you see LK Investments, you see Patricia and Provia. But then now we are telling you, actually, this company is, because probably our business, we are into these luxury homes, or we import these beautiful handbags and everything. But actually, the person who is investing in this company is someone else. That is the information we're requesting you to provide. Program? And in the, okay, let me just proceed as the way for providing lost connectivity. If it was different, if LK Investments Limited had two natural people, Patricia and Provia, and has a corporate shareholder, we'll need to enter who are the people in this company being a shareholder in another. that's the information you'll enter. If there are 5, you enter that information, there are 5 people. If it's there are 6, it depends, but you enter all that information here.
Okay, Patricia, are you done?
Yes.
Up to the last page?
Yes, yes, I'm done.
Okay.
I thought I lost you along the way.
I was talking, but I had forgotten and muted myself. Sorry, my apologies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dennis Nwaga by saying, I don't understand why you're presenting today, yet the deadline is tomorrow. I think you didn't do enough awareness about this cause. It's food for thought.
Dennis, we appreciate your feedback.
Advocate Biamazima Joshua is saying, but URSB has never filed a data controller. What safeguards are put in place?
Council, I hope you're speaking from a regulator position. However, that's not for us to disclose for you.
Then there's a question. I find it a submission. I find it odd to have a fine of 25 currency points, especially where the nominal capital of a company is 10 million or less. Don't you think that this will lead to closure of business?
The purpose of this fine, or this default fine, it's a sanction. It's supposed to be a deterrent. Yes. So we are not looking at closing businesses. We are looking at promoting transparency, so that when we promote transparency, we are going to curb crimes like corruption, embezzlement, fraud, counterfeit, financial fraud, tax evasion, and all those illegal acts. And also from having this information available about these beneficial owners, you curb terrorism financing. So once you comply, this fine won't apply to you.
Okay. Maureen Avako says there are international NGOs that are not registered with URSB, but with the NGO Bureau. They are funded by foreign governments that are run by directors appointed for a given period of time. In this case, who is the beneficial owner and where do you file? I think, Patricia, you had handled
Maureen,
this. I remember you had talked about only NGOs, the only NGOs that file are the ones that are on the URSB register. Janet says the deadline of tomorrow following a discussion today is not feasible or reasonable.
Janet, we appreciate your feedback. Yes.
Angela is asking, I have a company that has over 10,000 circles in Kenya. How do they go about filing those forms?
Angela, you're going to write to the registrar of companies and identify these foreign circles and share a list of these circles, because they're foreign and not registered here. They're foreign circles with details of their registration.
Okay. Flavia Aligumia says, you said not all companies have beneficial owners. Excuse me. Excuse me. You said not all companies have beneficial owners, but the notice is mandatory for all companies, and the form has no provision for one to say we don't have a beneficial owner. Flavia, I think the explanation that Patricia has just done, the demo she's just done, has shown if you don't have, you mention nil, and then you sign off the form. Advocate Biamazima is saying, but if I don't file, is it clear enough? Is it clear enough that I don't have?
Council, it won't hurt to file. Since you're complying, you're telling me, because with this requirement, you're telling me you have or you don't have.
Okay, then Yusuf says, this is feedback. He says, please consider that where a company submits no beneficial owners by this set deadline, then the company shall be deemed not to have any beneficial owners. No need to submit an empty form just to say we have no beneficial owners.
Yusuf, please comply. Comply and file, submit the form.
Maureen from Masindi is asking, how will we get feedback on deadline and online submission?
Through our website and through our communication, social media handles.
James is saying the deadline falls on a Saturday. Are your offices open on weekends?
James, our offices under normal circumstances do not open on weekends, but however, there are exceptions to the general rule.
Okay.
Sorry, I dropped off. And for purposes of enabling our stakeholders to comply, we shall be open tomorrow from 9 to 2 p.m. Georgian House, 9 to 2 p.m.
Okay. Then Evelyn says, I thought shareholders were the beneficial owners. If not so, then I fail to understand the beneficial owners.
Evelyn, as I said in the simplified definition, saying a beneficial owner is a person who enjoys the benefits of ownership through the shares of membership held by another. As per this form displayed, I told you LK Investments has two shareholders, Patricia and Provia. We have 50-50. But I explained to you, behind this, there is some investment advisor who decided to use a company as a vehicle to invest in Uganda. So when you look at LK Investments, you look at it, you see Patricia and Provia. Okay? But at the back of this, there is Mark Green, who is the financer, who is the person investing money here. That's why not all companies have beneficial owners. So it's the onus is on the company owners to tell us whether they have them or not.
Okay, Uthman is asking, can you elaborate on the difference between limited liability companies that have to submit and general liability that don't need to? I hope I got this right.
No, for those are for partnerships. Under the Partnership Act, we have general partners, which let's say Yusuf and Amina, tax consultants, you have this business which you registered and you have a partnership deed, and it's a general partnership. And then there is Yusuf and Amina. You're also into financial advisory, your investments and everything. You decide to have a limited liability partnership. A limited liability partnership means you'll have, let's say in that limited liability partnership, we'll have Yusuf with 50 and Amina with 50, or you'll have Yusuf with 90 and Amina with 10. So there are different requirements for registration between the ordinary general partnerships and the limited liability one. And with a limited liability partnership, there's LLP at the end of your name. And those are the ones which we require to file this information.
Emmanuel Bora is asking, where is the URSB for people in Kumi?
In Kumi, we do not have, in Kumi, we have a TREP officer at the district. Go to the district local government office, you'll find someone from URSB there. We also have someone in Soroti, we have in Mbale, we have in Moroto, and Tororo, Busia, and then in Kamuli, Jinja, Lugazi, and then in the west, we have some. North, we have offices. We have Lira, we have Gulu, Kitgum, we have Koboko, Arua, yeah, and Masindi. And then we have Hoima, Mitiana, Movende, Port Poto, Kasese. And then you'll find in cases here, the different divisions. You'll find in Nansana, you'll find in Boyogere, and in Namgongo. You'll find an officer there in Nakawa division, Central, Aponye downtown, Rubaga, Machinde. Yes. You have a number of trip centers where you can find about.
Julius Sazi is asking, if my company is owned by the diocese, who's the beneficial owner? The bishop?
Yes, which diocese does this belong to? Because different dioceses are headed by different bishops or archbishops, so you enter that information.
Who are those significant shareholders under the NGO? This I don't quite get
Under
it.
the NGO, I could probably give you a scenario. We have this foundation that is set up. In the face of it, it's going to have Provi and I. But we know this foundation, the person who decides what kind of activity we're going to engage in. Are we going to deal with women issues? Are we going to look at children? Are we going to support this? Who makes those significant decision and has control? That is a person who we want.
Malikul Lashta is asking, which companies are supposed to file? You said limited liability partnerships, then you said companies, then you said listed companies. Why can't you wait? Just wait. Why can't you list down the nature of companies? Either they are required to file or not.
Okay, Maniku, under the Partnership Act, we require limited liability partnerships to provide this information. Under the Companies Act, we require single member companies, require private limited companies. We require companies limited by guarantee with a shareholding, and those which are limited by guarantee with no shareholding. We require public companies to provide this information. The current, the ones who we have temporarily held them from requiring them to submit are the listed companies. And the requirement for them is to write a letter to the Register of Companies.
Okay. Hilda Karamaji is saying, so let me understand this. You will allow us file this form online. Maybe you will not allow us file this form online. You conduct your training presentation on the deadline date, have not conducted an extensive awareness drive and insist on a deadline of tomorrow, a weekend, with a penalty of 500,000 per day. What are you prioritizing, compliance or penalty?
Hilda, we appreciate your feedback. Please note, our goal is to facilitate formalization. We apologize if this is short notice for you, but this has been on for a month.
Andrew Jumbo says, please confirm whether there is need to relist the already registered shareholders or just to outline the individuals behind legal persons in companies only listed as shareholders.
Andrew, where there's a natural person, where it's Provi and I, and there's someone behind us, we're required to provide that information. Where there's a corporate shareholder, we're required to provide that information.
Josephine was asking for better form, not the PDF. Josephine, we have uploaded a form in Word. You can check the website right now. Angela, you should have held these before. Companies that filed earlier have to resubmit based on what you've said today. Not all directors or secretaries are in the country.
We apologize, Angela.
I'm going to put this together. How much are we supposed to pay for each form, and are penalties starting on Monday?
There is no fee required to file Form 1 and Form 2. It's only when you're requiring to carry out inspection in Form 3 that you're required to pay. But when you're filing Form 1 and Form 2, please do not pay anyone any coin, it's free.
You're asking where you get the forms. The forms on the website under the forms section. Appealant is asking to extend the extension to July 1st. We take note. Evelyn is saying the meeting should have been organized much earlier. We take note. Because she's saying some people filed earlier could have filed wrong information unknowingly. Rajab is asking, is a shareholder automatically a beneficial owner? No, Rajab. They are not. Aine Rukundo, Sheena is asking, just like listed companies, does this apply to trusts as well?
We do not, trusts are not one of the functions URSB handles. So trusts are registered under the Trustees Act, which is not one of the laws we implement. So we are only handling issues to do with the Companies Act and Partnership Act.
Shana, if we don't have a beneficial owner, do we still need to file the form? Yes, Shana, you need to. The form is on the website. Ashish Rava is saying, so if the shareholders are the beneficial, so if the shareholders are the beneficial owner and they are natural persons, the form 1 can be filed blank.
Yes, as we earlier said, if you do not have beneficial owners, you put not applicable. I demonstrated that before. I had a demo on one where there was a beneficial owner.
Lawrence Morindo is saying our local church is required to file the form as well.
If your church is registered as a company limited by guarantee, yes, they're required to file.
Cynthia is saying, please note, a shareholder can be a beneficial owner. In most jurisdictions, a threshold is set, e.g. 25% shares and above. The law needs to set the threshold to determine which shareholders can be registered as beneficial owners.
Cynthia, different countries take different approaches. FATF recommended is 25. If you look at within Africa, you'll find some countries have 10, some countries have 5. Argentina has 1. So it's a country-based position.
Here, if you do not have a beneficial owner, you still file. Kapini Pius. Hi, Patricia. Most of the local companies have shareholders. As the people enjoying those benefits, ultimately the shareholders become the ultimate beneficial owners. True or false?
Sorry, I missed the name. We have that information on record. That's why we're telling you, give us the person who enjoys benefits of this of ownership through shares held by another. If there's none, we have that information on the register of members.
Okay. Someone from Certified Risk Management Professional is saying he submitted the form yesterday and it was rejected, saying it wasn't supposed to include the full names of the beneficial owners.
Oh, that is erroneous on our part, because this is about transparency. We need to know who the people are. If you have time, please feel free, come to Georgian House. We are available.
People with hands up will speak, don't worry, they are going to speak. Natasha says you didn't talk about the limited by guarantee. Are they not affected?
Natasha, I listed companies that are required unlimited by guarantee without a share capital are one of the companies required to comply.
Where do we submit the form? URSB at Kololo or here at Georgian House?
Come to Georgian House.
Then someone is asking, what is the threshold for a shareholder to be deemed a beneficial owner?
According to our law, we don't have a threshold. That's why we ask all companies with beneficial owners to provide this information.
Ashish is asking if the members are the beneficial owners, then can this form be blank or we need to mention their names?
Ashish, as earlier stated, you said if you do not have beneficial owners, please do not fill nil or not applicable.
Okay, thank you. If the shareholders or ultimate owners are foreign individuals, is it then nil?
Sorry,
If the shareholders or ultimate owners are foreign individuals, does it mean that then they file nil?
Yes.
I'm scrolling down just a minute. Barbara from CCFU is saying, you said beneficial owners for NGOs is a person with a significant influence. How do you measure significant influence? Secondly, does this include donor organizations? Because without funding, organizations cannot operate.
Barbara, that's why this information is provided by the company. You know the internal mechanisms on who is who in the company, who calls the shots, who makes decisions. So it's only the company that can disclose that. The donors cannot be beneficial owners.
Hussein is asking, where is the register of beneficial owners kept?
The register is kept at a specified place known to the company, and you're supposed to share the same with the register of companies. That's why I said the instances where now in this case, in LK, we are saying our register is kept at plot 1 at Georgian House. Our register can be kept at probably the offices of our lawyer. So we'll put that information. But this register should not be kept outside Uganda.
Wycliffe, the form doesn't have the option of saying the company does not have beneficial owners. Wycliffe, the demonstration made by Patricia showed that you can actually fill in the part which asks who the beneficial owners is. You say nil, nil, and then you proceed to the second part and sign off. Natasha, no, we are currently receiving physical forms. Catherine, yes, the URSB Patricia mentioned, we shall be open tomorrow from 9 to 2 p.m. Someone says, do I have to register a director who has 20 shares in a company but does not enjoy the benefits? The person is a silent partner just because a limited company needs at least 2 persons.
This person's information is on record. We want that person, like in our case, Mark Green, who benefits from this company and his name is nowhere on record.
even he is paying. Does this relate to business entities as well?
Our business names are registered under the Business Name Registration Act are not required to file. Sole proprietors, general partnerships are not required to file this information. It's only the limited liability partnership that submit this information.
Uncle Yudi is asking, are collective investment schemes and special purpose vehicles affected by this regulation?
Any entity that is registered under the Companies Act is required to comply. However, I only said currently the exemption is for the listed companies who are required to write a letter confirming that they are listed with their listing details.
Wycliffe asks, kindly clarify in which segment, since the form is open, you can show that. Kindly clarify in which segment one states that the company has no beneficial owners. Patricia, can you show that part where they state they have no beneficial owners?
Now, Wycliffe, now this is where there's one. If there is no beneficial owner, definitely you will not fill in where this place is kept. And when you're filling in this part, you will fill in nil. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Patricia. Patricia, please be explicit with about the relationship between shareholders, directors, and the beneficial owner. It seems like you're saying that it's not necessary to write the name of the beneficial owner as the same as name of the beneficial owner of the same as a shareholder.
As I earlier said, a beneficial owner is a person who enjoys benefits of ownership through the shares held by another person. So if we are declaring, that's why in this LK investment, I did not put Provia and Patricia, because these are the people who are on the company record as shareholders and directors. But I said behind this, there's someone called Mark Green. That is the person we want. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm scanning the questions. Some have been responded to, some looking for the new ones. Do single member companies file as well?
Yes, they do.
How do we fill in the form? Patricia has demonstrated. It seems like you're only interested in the names of natural persons that benefit, but are not listed in the documents at URSB. Is that so?
Yes, we want to know that natural person.
How do you, Andrew Jumbo is asking, how do you break down the individual ownership of persons of people in legal person? For example, DEF company has 50% ownership in ABC company, and DEF company has 3 equal owners, D, E, and F. What would one file out in the nature of beneficial ownership or control form for ABC company?
You put there depending on what number of shares they hold. If they are equal, you'll put that. That's why I said there's no one size fits all. All companies have their different structures and different arrangements.
Luganda session. Patricia, I hope you will facilitate the Luganda session effectively.
We shall try.
Then Etiba says, I submitted the forms on Monday, but was not given any reply or feedback. How do I know it was accepted?
Etiba, please check on us on Monday for feedback.
Patricia, please clarify. Are clients supposed to submit in triplicate and keep one form?
Yes, our dear clients, please submit in triplicate. There are certain entities which are regulated, and your regulators will ask for proof of submission of this information. That's why you submit in triplicate, we'll return to.
If company A is a company limited by shares and the director is the sole shareholder, does that mean he is automatically a beneficial owner? Secondly, can we submit this form online rather than bringing a physical form to your URSB branches?
Unfortunately, as is, we require you to bring them to the nearest office.
Hope you have read the decision of the European Court on this beneficial owner thing. Hope it persuades you to scrap this crazy stuff.
We have read that decision from the European Court of Justice, and as our regulations and our law, this information is not publicly available. That's why I read to you that provision requiring you to comply with the conditions before you can access this information.
Mahmoud says, have realized that everyone is asking who beneficial owners is. Can't we work on a write-up and circulate it on all for us, starting with the URSB forum? Yes, we are working on that, and yeah. Then we gave you our email. Dennis Mugabe says, we gave you our emails, phone numbers, postal addresses. Why didn't you notify us through those channels?
Dennis, in future, we pledge to communicate better.
Justin is asking us who is eligible to fill this form, and investment clubs as well.
This form, this requirement applies to entities that are registered as limited liability partnerships under the Partnership Act, and companies registered and incorporated under the Companies Act. Is that school? Where does that school fall? That is the first question.
Roger, you can share the form here. You can directly share the form. Someone is asking for the form, so they can download it from the chat. Roger, share the form on the chat. Alan is asking, what is the major reason for companies to file this form with URSB?
Alan, the requirement is it's a provision of the law. So in implementation of section 119, that's where the requirement is derived from for the companies to file this, and section 52A of the Partnership Act.
Do government companies or parastatals also have to file the beneficial owners form?
As long as the parastatals are not registered under the companies Act, many of them are creatures of statute, just like URSB is created by the URSB Act Cap 210. Companies owned by government on our register are required to submit this information.
Can we get 2 or 3 registrars specifically to sign and stamp beneficial ownership forms today, and it acts as a walk-in?
Our dear clients, we have been receiving this form, so it's fast in time.
Nolan is asking, filing this form, okay, is it a one-time? Okay, she wants to know if when they file the form, that is it. You don't have to file again. Is it a one-time service?
Now, it depends on your company. If you don't have any changes, you will not need to file Form 2. So Form 1 is notifying, it's the notice of beneficial owners. Form 2 is on changes. If you have not had any changes, there's no need for you to file.
Asking about the company registration number. We have always used the few digits that appeared on the old school COI. The new COI has that long number certificate. So for the old certificate of incorporation, where do we get the long number?
You can access this number from our website, but however, if you're not sure of the number, of the long number, write the short number, we shall be able to link it to your entity long number.
The forms on the website, you can access them from the website. No business names are not supposed to comply with this requirements. Can beneficial owners be the same as the shareholders? Have you heard that, Patricia? Can beneficial owners be the same as shareholders?
No, we want you to tell us if there's anyone behind that shareholder, and in the case of a corporate shareholder, we want you to tell us the natural people who are in that company.
Clarify on where you say the file is kept, the register.
Okay, on the register of beneficial owners, when we look at the provision, one, a company might keep this register at the company offices. In the case of LK, as displayed here, we have said our register is kept at our company premises at plot 5, floor 1, Georgian House, because this is the address of our company. And then there's an instance where probably this beneficial ownership form register is kept with the lawyers or the tax consultants. You just also have to give us their address. But this register must not be kept outside Uganda. It can be kept any place within Uganda.
Patrick says, I have 2 beneficial owners. Can I use 2 separate forms for each?
Patrick, unless they became beneficial owners on different dates, you don't need to use 2 forms. However, there is an option, since this is you can type into this form. You can put Mark Green became a beneficial owner on 12th January 2005. And then Mrs. Green became a beneficial owner on 1st December 2020, sorry. Since you can be able to type within the form, because you're not changing anything, you're just giving details on the date the person became a beneficial owner.
Kindly take us through how a partnership like a law firm can deal with this. Oscar Musime.
Oscar, what do you mean take you through how a law firm can deal with this?
Like I think his meaning, what should law firms do? How do they fill in the form?
Is it a LLP? because for you to fill in your either a law firm, is it a general partnership? Is it a limited liability partnership? So I would need more information.
For listed companies, is filing a nil form with a note that the beneficial owner is listed sufficient?
For listed companies, please write to the Registrar of Companies and notify us on your listing. You can give us your listing number and that. Yes, that will suffice.
How about businesses that are just starting without a registration number and name?
For the businesses that are just being set up under OBRS, there is a form for beneficial owners, and this form goes to your company file, so you can utilize that form, please.
Jimmy is asking if we're open tomorrow from 9 to 2, how about for the offices in Arua? Is the office going to be open as well?
Yes, all our regional offices will be open from 9 to 2. Please come at 9. We don't want you to come at 1:59.
For ICT, the website is so slow. Could it be too much traffic? It's not responding. Something for us to look into. Patricia, where is the URSB office in Busia?
We sit with the URA team at the URA office.
For an NGO like you say, Uganda Small Scale Industry Association, who is it beneficial? Who is its beneficial owner? Is it its members or the funders?
No. Do we have now in this case? Do we have any members who are fronted by someone, or do we have any entities that are members? Those are the people would want. But if we have natural people with no beneficial owners, then they might not have beneficial owners.
Patricia, confirm where the office in Namgongo is, or which building?
The local government. With the TREP centers, you will find us usually at local government and URA offices.
Okay, I request that I take
in Namgongo, please go to the division.
Namgongo, the division office. Okay. I request that we take some hands. And Patricia, like we had discussed, we have some of these questions turned into FAQs and put on our website. Any questions, you can put up your hand. Your hand, or depending on the gadget you're using, the hand is that yellow little next to the dots, the 3 dots, there's a hand somewhere. Or if you're using your phone, you can find it somewhere. Ntende Baker, you can unmute and ask. Ntende Baker, you can unmute your mic and ask. Roger, can you unmute Ntende? He can't unmute himself.
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Intende Baker. So first, my company only has the director and the secretary. We don't have any beneficial owner, whatever. We don't have any. And then
Baker is breaking.
In Ginger, is it possible for us this form?
Baker, we didn't hear your last question. The baby disorganized your last question. Baby's cry. I didn't hear. I had he's in Ginger. He only has a director. The last, he had already muted. Yusuf Mugume, unmute and ask.
Yeah, thank you so much. Are you getting me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, my name is Yusuf Mugume. I would like to know, my company is under registration. The name has been reserved. I don't know if I'm also eligible to submit the form.
Okay, let me begin with Mugume. As following the reservation of your name, one of the mandatory forms you have to fill in is that on beneficial owners, which you will readily access on OBRS. For intended in Ginger, we have an officer at the TREP Center in Ginger at the URA office. And we also have someone in Lugazin municipality.
Yeah. Humphrey, you can unmute and ask. Humphrey.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to ask. Now, you are hearing me.
Yes, we can hear you.
My question is, for all this time we have been registering companies and doing the company work, has this form been there or it has not been there? And what is the cause of the deadline that people have to rush into these things? We start scrambling ourselves into URSB offices to the extent that you have to work on Saturday. Can't you give people enough time, like 3 months, so that these forms can be filed? Why should somebody be scrambling to even work on Saturday? Thank you.
Thank you, Humphrey. At the beginning of my presentation, I said Uganda made high-level commitments in 2020 to have our laws compliant with the requirements on beneficial owner information. And the Companies Act was amended in September, and the regulations were passed in January. So we are, as a country, we are behind schedule on this.
Okay, Justin, you can unmute and ask.
This one just needed to be sued.
Justin.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. Now my question, for us, we are an investment club, of which I believe all members have equal shareholding. So in that case, whom do we put as the beneficial person?
Thank you, Justin. It goes back to, are you a company? What is your registration status? Because we can't have this conversation if I do not know whether you're a company, or we have investment clubs that have constitutions and they're registered under Document Registration Act. So this might not apply to you. So you need to first start by clarifying on your status.
Abdallah, second for you to unmute and ask your question.
All right, thank you very much. My question is that we are a charity organization. Anyway, we haven't registered with the NGO Bureau yet. We're just recently registered with URSB. And the charity organization is basically, I must say, owned by the members. So I find it difficult to define a beneficial owner for our.
Okay, Abdallah, the provision is quite clear. It says all companies with beneficial owners. So you have said yours is a membership and there's no one who benefits from this. So that's you're in the category of our clients who submit nil and sign off and submit.
Could you please throw more light? I didn't get well what you said towards the end.
I said you're in the category of our clients who require you because we asked you, do you have beneficial owners? You've said no. So you have to give us that notice that XX charity under registration number has no beneficial owners.
In Phoenix S4, a second, and you asked a question. In Phoenix S4, unmute and ask. It's difficult for me to, if you have not renamed your gadget, it's hard for us to communicate well. In Phoenix S4, Techno C16. Let me give a chance to the ones whose question they haven't yet read. The names are.
Hello, can you hear me?
Please ask your question in a second.
Yeah, my concern is about the directors of a company who are non-residents, and they are supposed to sign.
You have a lot of background noise. Okay, now you can proceed. You can proceed. You are not, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Namboze Josephine, unmute and ask.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I have a company. We have only directors and shareholders. Who are the beneficial owners on that number?
Okay.
Hello?
Now, I missed.
We have only.
Ken and Roger, please help me. There are people unmuting and it's. Ken and Roger, please help.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
My companies we have only directors and shareholders. So are we in the category of filing nil? Hello? Hello?
We can hear you, numbers are
Yeah. Yes, we have only directors and shareholders. So are we in a category of filing nil?
If you do not have any other person who has ultimate interest in your company and is not your director or shareholder, you file nil.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Techno C16, you can ask your question.
Thank you very much. Are you able to get me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, so mine is an NGO, but not yet registered by the NGO Bureau, but with URSB, and it's a company limited by guarantees. So we don't have, I don't know, we don't have called what? Beneficial owners, something like that. Like I'm completely at the sea. I need guidance, or maybe we can find new. Thank you.
I didn't get your name. As long as the company is registered with URSB, it's expected to file. If you do not have beneficial owners behind your company, then you fill in the form, file nil under the request for beneficial owners and nature of ownership. You sign off the form and submit it. Okay. Sinaj Namakula, I've unmuted you. Please talk.
Thank you. My question is, if the beneficial owner is a foreign company or a foreign person, do we feel nil?
Patricia?
Yes. That's why I told you, you fill in the details and you fill in their passport number. So we want that natural person, whether you're a foreigner or a local. We need this information on this BO.
So she doesn't feel nil, you fill in the information because the beneficial owner is actually present.
Yes.
Okay,
And if it's a
prosecute.
foreign company, being a shareholder in a Ugandan company, you give us the names of those shareholders in that foreign company.
After your question is asked, please put down your hand. So Sheila Nabale, you can ask your question. Sheila Nabale.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So my question is, let me give a scenario. I have a company whose shareholders are 3 and the majority shareholder is a UK-based company whose shareholders are also a UK company. So at that moment, I would think that the beneficial owner are the owners of the second in line UK-based company. My question then would be, in light of the ECJ decision, what are the chances that that company would disclose the beneficial owners to me so that I fill it in for URSP purposes?
Sheila, we are implementing the Companies Act, laws of Uganda, and a corporate shareholder is required to provide this information. That ECJ ruling was in relation to having this information publicly accessible. This information we're going to hold is not publicly accessible. Publicly accessible would mean you go to the internet and check LK Investments. It would pull up and show you the directors and the BOs, but that is not the case. So we encourage you to ask your shareholders to comply.
Okay, kindly, as you fill in the form, please take note that it is a free form. You're not supposed to pay any fee for it at the moment. Masembe John, I'm going to unmute you and you ask your question. Masembe John.
Yes, I want to use an example for my question. So I am one of the founders of a nonprofit. I happen to live outside of Uganda. My assumption is we have a Ugandan board and an outside board. And my understanding is the beneficiary owners would be the Ugandan board. However, part of the presentation said that if the person, in this case, myself, has some form of administrative, I guess, influence in decision-making, I would be registered as a beneficiary owner. Is that the case? Or it's the Ugandan board that would be registered as beneficiary owners?
Patricia,
The information we require here are of those people. Now you said you have a foreign board. They do not appear on our company register as directors. Those are the people we want to know because they have influence over this charity in Uganda, but they're not on our record.
Prosecutor, I've unmuted you. You can ask in a second.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Now, yesterday we were able to file the Form 1, but when we were filing, we put the shareholders, those that hold 25 and above, as the beneficial owners. So how can we go about rectifying this?
Patricia.
You can rectify this by resubmitting the other forms.
John Bosco, a second, ask your question. John Bosco.
Thank you so much. Yes, we submitted the forms on Wednesday, but the gentleman told us that we should go, we shall be notified. So we are not, how can we prove that we submitted?
Patricia, did you get that?
When you submit, you are supposed to get an acknowledgement. But notwithstanding, check with us on Monday. We shall have the forms processed and ready for pickup.
Hello? Yes, please. Am I audible?
Hello.
Please proceed.
Yes, my question is, we are an NGO and we are not registered by URSB, but we are registered by the NGO Bureau. However, we just reserve the name under URSB. Are we supposed to file? And also, we have founder members, board members, and the director. Who of these people stand a chance to be taken as beneficial owners? And then, is it a must that we have to register? Because I'm told all NGOs are limited by guarantee. Thank you.
Yes. If you're not on our register as a company, you have no obligation to file the documents with us. So begin your process. There's a form which you'll fill in. And based on your structure, because you as the company members, you're setting up, you know the finer details of who qualifies to be a BO. So we want those people who make decisions, who have powers to appoint the board and do not appear on record. And the next person with a question, please proceed. I'm sorry, I can't see the hand.
Benna, you can unmute and ask. Benna?
Hello?
Yes, Benna.
Yeah. Can I include my children or husband as a beneficial owner?
Do they do they enjoy the benefits of ownership through the shares you hold?
Yes.
Do they decisions?
I pay school fees.
No. You see, this business, this business you run, of course, you make profits. From the profits, you pay your taxes, you pay your employees, you pay your taxes, and then you're doing your obligations as a mother. Yes, yes. So no, we want someone who's there who tells you, Benna, today you're going to bid for this. Obena, I think we need to change the business direction. We're going to go into agriculture. We're going to specialize in avocado, something, the decisions.
Yeah,
I doubt
so-
your people have that influence.
Yes, because I try to involve them in what I am doing in my decision-making processes, and I'm trying to empower them to make.
Bena, understand. All of us would want all our children to be in our companies.
Yeah.
They can be in the other mainstream company, but they cannot be beneficial owners. Based on the explanation of Patricia, a beneficial owner is someone who has a lot of control outside there and is telling you, do like this, take this direction. Now, this time we went into mining, it's not working. Let us go into agriculture. Someone who actually has a lot of authority and is also sinking probably some money into the investment, but is not in the mainstream company. So your child does not fall in that category.
And Bena, we applaud you for having the children. It's a good direction, and that your business is taking to have the family involved in the business growth and development.
Yeah, and my husband?
You see the investor?
No, Bena, thank you for your question. We shall talk offline again. Bena is being cheeky. Katende, now you can ask your question. Katende, I've unmuted you. You can ask your question. Katende.
Yes, thank you.
Proceed.
Can you hear me, please?
Katende, yes, we can hear you.
I'm seeking for a clear explanation on what a beneficial owner is, because actually Ben has helped my mind partially, because I was starting to think that if I'm a shareholder in company A, family at home, they are somewhat beneficial owners. Can you, I think I'm taking it back, but kindly draw a clear definition of who a beneficial owner is. Thank you.
Patricia, can you respond?
Sorry, I was muted. I've been speaking for a while. A beneficial owner, yes, a beneficial owner is a person who enjoys benefits of ownership through the membership held by another person. As per this example on screen, this LK Investments, when you look at the company record, it has Provia and I as the two shareholders. But we're telling you, behind this company, there's a Mark Green. Mark Green is this gentleman who has invested money in our business. We're into real estate. We're into extraction of, we're mining gold. We're probably importing leather, bags, and we're doing all this and that. We're doing all these great things from this country, in this company. But the person, the force behind this company is Mark Green. And if you, that's why we filled in his details as a beneficial owner, and when he became the beneficial owner, because in our hypothetical case, Mark Green was our friend. He met us in 2005, and he told us he wanted to invest in Uganda, but he didn't want to be on a record because probably his job, he was working, he was a diplomat and everything, but he wanted to do business in Uganda. So he got his two friends, Provia and Patricia. So they put us there. So when you look at this company, 50-50, but the financial, that hand that covers over this company is Mark. Mark is the person who decides what kind of business we are doing, who decides the direction, who can say, I think we need this person in our board for this reason, and has significant control of all the decisions. He leaves us with very small decisions, maybe of day-to-day running or people who we employ. That is the person we want. We don't want your wife on this record, because unless she falls within this category.
Diego, now you can ask your question. Diego Justin. Patricia, the questions are too many, and when questions are too many, it implies that
we shall continue to have engagement.
Yes, there is need for a lot of engagements, because many questions means that there's still a green space that people have not understood what we are speaking about. Diego can't unmute. Let me just randomly pick someone. Natasha, before Omgisha comes in.
Thank you.
Okay, you can ask the question.
My question is probably could have talked about it. Maybe I joined late. Ours is a limited company with 2 directors and 2 shareholders. We don't have any beneficiary owner. In this case, what do we do? Then 2, the deadline seems to be so close. Are there any chances of extending the deadline? And are we allowed to file at the regional offices? Like in this case, I'm near Masaka. Can I finish the filing in Masaka? Thank you so much for the engagement.
Okay, thank you, Noah. You can submit your form at the Masaka office, and then 2, you can if you are sure and you say you don't have beneficial owners away behind the existing shareholders, please fill in a nil form, and one of the directors or secretary can sign.
Thank you.
Okay. Edgar Nwagaba, ask your question. Muganyizi, your hand was up. I unmuted you, but we couldn't hear you. I'm going to unmute you after this.
Thank you so much. This is Edgar Nwagaba. I wanted to know why URSB is so much interested in the beneficial owner. Because some people, you see, like this example you are showing us, you are using to show us the beneficial owner. Someone is trying to hide his identity in a business. So I don't know why URSB is entering into people's privacy.
Thank you, Edgar. We are not infringing on your privacy. We are interested in preventing companies being used as vehicles for money laundering and terrorism financing. That's why we have this requirement to have full transparency and disclosure.
Okay, Muganyizi, I've unmuted you. Keith. Muganyizi, Keith.
Yes, please. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the training. The scenario I have involves a holding company with 2 subsidiaries. The holding company is owned by a listed company in a foreign country, and its other shareholders are, number 1, an apex body of cooperatives, basically made up of over 3,000 cooperatives, and also other cooperatives in Uganda. So in such a case, kindly guide on how I can disclose the beneficial owners in a situation, number 1, involving a listed company in a foreign country and an apex body for cooperatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. In your case, you fall in that category where you're required to write to the register of companies, and that will notify us on your shareholding, and that will suffice as compliance. Because it's impossible for you to list members of a listed company due to the constant business changes.
Thank you.
So, Sewava Beatrice, Sewava, you can ask your question.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is Boaz speaking for Beatrice. I would like to find out
how do you deal with minors who are beneficial owners? You just list their names and leave out the other details. Then secondly, what are the circumstances where you have to write to the register of companies whereby you're not allowed to file the form? Thank you.
It's for listed companies. Listed companies are the ones who provide this information. And then for minors, a beneficial owner is someone who enjoys benefit through your ownership. Does this minor, are they investing in this company? Do they have control? Do they have the powers to appoint or to remove a board? Those are the aspects. Let's not confuse the role, our parental roles with these duties, the compliance obligations.
Thank you, Patricia. Barbara, ask your question.
Thank you very much. Seeking clarity on the companies that are owned by investment clubs, because you find that you have like 3 directors that are holding shares in trust for the investment club owners. So in that case, what do we file? Thank you.
Now, if you have people holding these shares in trust we want to know who are these people, who are these beneficiaries? Because on the face of it, I know investment clubs at the time of setup, you'll say, okay, let's put these 3, but you'll find people are contributing money, people are sitting in meetings doing this. Give us a list of all those members.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Shabilu? Karigwize Shabilu? Shabilu? Okay. Murun?
Hello. Hello,
Shabilu,
hello.
go ahead.
Good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Yeah, you know, I said I entered this meeting late, but at least I have understood the beneficial owners. But my question is, are these forms paid for?
No, there's no payment.
It's free, eh?
It's free.
So there is where you people are saying that you file a nil form. Do you mean that I don't write anything in the boxes? I just sign if I'm a director?
No, you see, the part that you file only nil if you know you do not have beneficial owners. That's
Of
when
course,
you finish nil and then you sign
our company, we are 4 shareholders and we are the directors as well. I think there is no beneficial owner in that company.
It's you who know. We cannot say there is no beneficial owner. It is you to say you don't have a beneficial owner. If you know there is no one outside your company who's actually interested in it and controlling it, then you say you file nil. You put nil under the name, nil under the nature of ownership. Then you go to the back of the phone, you sign it, and then you submit.
Okay, thank you.
Murunji Caroline. Murunji?
Yes, good afternoon. I just wanted to inquire whether this time it's okay to file online, because there is where Patricia mentioned this time it's only physical. So kindly offer the clarity. Can someone file the form today online?
No, Patricia said you can only file online if it's a new company that you're incorporating. So you can fill in the form and then attach it as part of the optional forms that you're supposed to attach. But currently, we are receiving physical forms at any of our branch offices. And you file them in triplicate so that you have a copy for yourself. Samuel Katende. Samuel Katende. Samuel Katende, I think I've been calling you for some time now, but you don't, I think you're not on. Ivy, you can ask your question, Ivy. Unmute and ask. Ivy. Okay, Pink Lotus. Pink Lotus?
Hello, I'm Ivy. Hello.
Proceed.
Yeah, I'm having a question that about the companies which or businesses which are just starting. She spoke about some term I do not even understand that you register, but I kindly request her to give like a clarification and the steps someone can take. Then does this filing in these forms affect the does this deadline of filing in the form affect those people who are just starting? Because I've just landed on this meeting, but I was just planning to start the registration process altogether. So I need help. I really don't know the steps so much. Thank you so much.
Ivy, before you go, before you mute yourself, you need help in what? In registering the company or in knowing how to fill in the form?
In registering the company, because it's just starting, it's a business, it's just okay, it started, but the registration wasn't yet effected.
The company is already in operation?
Yeah, it's a business. Yeah, it's already in operation, but it's not yet registered anywhere.
No, it's not yet registered with URSB?
Yeah, anywhere, I should say anywhere.
No, we only require companies that are registered with us to file the form. So if it's a new company.
Sorry?
If you are a new company and you want to register and you intend to register with us, so one of the forms, one of the requirements will be that you fill in the beneficial owners form as you register. Okay. So Patricia told you there's an option where you attach forms on the online system, where you can attach the form after you filled it in. After you've filled it in, you scan it and attach it. Or
okay,
you
is it possible I go to any of their offices, then I can get help from there? Is it okay?
Yes, but you haven't yet. Currently, registration of a company is done online.
Okay. So I need to go to their website. Eh?
You go to obrs.ursb.go.ug. You create an account. After you create an account, you you go back into that account and do your reservation. You pay 24,000. It's system generated. The assessment will be done within the system.
Okay.
Then after you submit, you receive feedback. Then you proceed to do your company registration.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Dr. Charlie?
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Just a clarification yet again. Sole proprietorships do not need to submit. And then the second question is it okay for me to sign using a digital signature and somebody in Kampala prints out the form and submits it? Thank you.
Sole proprietorships, business names are not required to submit. Patricia, can he use a digital signature and get someone in Kampala to deliver it for him? Patricia? Patricia? Okay, Dr. Charlie, we currently don't accept signatures, scanned signatures, so it has to be a physical document. So if you're not in Kampala, you can drop it at any of our branch offices or the TREP centers. TREP is an arrangement we have with the local government, the Ministry of Local Government and URA. We have an officer at each of those offices. I think, Patricia, had I lost you?
Yes, sorry, but I'm back.
Okay. Sandra Patricia's namesake. In 1 second, please ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I would like to ask, are we only submitting this form because they talked about notification of change of the beneficiaries? Is this the only form we are submitting?
My namesake, you're just submitting this notification. Form 2 is required if there are any changes. If you don't have changes, you don't have to submit the form. That form 2.
Okay, Fiona, are you? Patricia, we need another session. The hands are-
This is Fiona, and I have actually 2 questions, and one will start in terms of we are looking at this beneficial owner thing, and already some of us, yes, you said we can refile, but looking at your time period, what is the guarantee that even us who might do late, we are still safe within refiling the new beneficial form? Because I've been listening, following very well, and it seems Madam Patricia is really dodging the question on the time limits, and which is something very crucial. And already the concern is so much because in a point the information, even if you say you gave a 1-month notice, but as it circulated in the entire country, as everyone gotten that information, even the layman we are complaining of, have they got that proper information? Because right now, I know this platform takes around 500 people who are listening, and already we are even not 500, we are about 300 something. And these are the people who have got the information on whatever you're saying. But out of still even these 300, we are all not well versed. You're hearing the questions coming in, the concerns coming in, and then you're very seriously not giving us any hint of a solution to this deadline. And then the details of the beneficial form, you are very well understanding that people are failing to even understand how to fill. Even after we have sat and listened to you from 10, we are still failing. Is this going to be your last session? Considering that tomorrow is your deadline, is it still going to be your last session? And how are you going to only maintain putting it now here in this English language, or maybe even later transport it into the layman's language? And what layman's language is it only going to cover? Because remember, you know very well the number of companies in your registry. Are they all aware of that fact? And then Noagaba asked a question on privacy. You're telling us that this beneficial form we are going to file is going to be a private, but we very well aware and know that the documents filed with the Registration Service Bureau becomes a company document open to someone to know it, to find details about it. And that means that you are not showing people the fact that even when we file this, you are so safe from liability of once it leaks out. If the Anti-Money Laundering Act is requiring you to provide that, why don't they create a safe body to do that, maybe under you people, but not you handling it? Because we are very sure that this will become a public document, which anyone can do as such and even be given access to it. And very well, we know the status of our country. Corruption still flows. I can only pay someone to get me those details because it's at the company registry. What safeguards are you even going to put to provide security for that beneficial form? Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. First of all, as earlier in our discussion, I said the deadline is tomorrow and we're going to be open from 9 to 2 p.m. Secondly, on security and privacy of your data, we take cognizance of the Data Protection Act, and this information is not held on that, is not kept on the company register. That's why access to this information has terms and conditions that will be put in place. And this is not, okay, this is our last presentation for the day, but our stakeholder engagements continue. And as earlier in the discussion, there was a request for discussions in the various languages to cater for all our clients. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Patricia. Jackie, Jackie, let me unmute you and you ask. Jackie, you're unmuted. Jackie?
Hello.
Jackie, please add the volume of your gadget.
Hello. Hello. Can
Jackie,
you hear
you can
me?
proceed. Yes, 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 we can hear you.
Yes. So I have a question. Thank you, Patricia. So as asking, for example, my company, we just have a managing director and a director, both holding same shares. And so in that case, do we have a beneficial owner or we do not? So my form
Jackie,
is supposed to be nil.
Jackie, for your company, there are questions you would need to be privy to on actually if probably the funds invested in this company are from these two people and other details. So that's why I can't tell you yes or no, because I don't know finer details about your company. And that's why this register is created by the company, where they tell us we do not have beneficial owners or we have beneficial owners.
Okay, thank you.
Mwonge Gerald. Mwonge Gerald.
Hello, I'm Mwonge Gerard. For me, I just need one clarity because as the foundation that we lead, we don't have beneficiaries, and we don't call them beneficiaries, but we call them members because they're the ones that we give services to. So, and we just have the board of directors as the beneficiary. So we have to put in the board of directors, or we just have to get from our members that we give services.
No, we want someone who has the power in this entity to appoint, to remove, and has significant control in the company. That's the person we want.
Okay, and another question is like this. You said, well, I have been listening to your presentation, you said that the directors, the people that register the organization and the URSB are the ones, they're not supposed to be on this form. And yet when it comes to some of our decision making, the directors are the ones that owns they have the final say in when it comes to decision making. So what could we do then?
Gerald, I told you we want to see these people who do not appear on any record of the company, but make decisions and control this company. So if you do not have such people, you might not have beneficial owners.
Actually, there you would have the directors in the company. So
Bunoti? Bunoti? Patricia, I know we cannot, it's impossible to respond to every concern. We have been on this call from 10 a.m. up to now, it's coming to 1. We have another engagement at 2 p.m. I request that we schedule another webinar, probably for Monday, with a bigger number of people.
I think we shall communicate on the exact date.
Yes.
Because of our another engagement.
Yes. And we can utilize some of the questions that have been asked here to respond to issues and in the next webinar, so that we respond as they come in. There's a lot of issues that require responses. So I request you to close the session and give us a way forward.
I want to thank all our dear clients who have taken time to log in.
Hello.
We shall be open tomorrow from 9 to 2 p.m. To be able to receive your work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, participants, for staying with us for the last three or 4 hours. We shall communicate our next position, and the offices, all our branch offices and Georgian House shall be open on tomorrow on Saturday to receive your forms and also to provide guidance as and where it's required. We are going to share the recording as well with you. We shall also post it on our Twitter handle. You can listen in your free time. And in case you have any concern, you let us know. The office will be open. You can walk in and talk to us, and we will be of guidance and assistance. Okay, have a good afternoon. Let me remain online to respond to some of your chats. I'll respond to the parts I can, but I know Patricia has a second engagement. But I'll try and respond to the ones that I can manage here in the chat room. I thank you and have a good afternoon.